Hello everyone, and welcome to my next video for Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, in which I am going to be taking on Dimensions in Transcendence, Tier 7, and I do apologise for maybe the handful of you out there who did see my previous video before I took it down, because one of my commenters gracefully pointed out the fact that I had managed to record a video with no commentary, despite the fact that I was taking time to go over and demonstrate things as I normally would when I was talking. So as it turns out, I had just kind of spent 15 minutes talking into the void for no reason. But we don't talk about that. I think that's like literally the first time that I've ever done anything like that. So I'm actually, in this video, I'm only going to be taking on the Reckoning tier because, to be honest, the islands on the side are so completely trivialized at this point that I don't think there would be much benefit from me actually going through them. I mean, if people are stuck, you know, if people need advice, then either leave a comment in the comment section or go check out one of the many, many more well-researched and better edited content creators out there, and I'm sure you'll be able to find something useful. But for the time being, I'm just going to be focusing on Reckoning. But I will quickly just take the opportunity to go through the stuff on the side just so you get a brief idea. So Crucible 1 on the left, it has a requirement for having a blue crystal character, and it pits you against the lunatic glow lizards that you would have faced off against originally in Alphino's debut, if I recall correctly. It's the egg ones where they kind of like, they puff themselves up and they gain a lot of brave damage reduction, like when they get into this yellow aura state. Except these versions of them, they really don't seem to gain any defense or resistance at all. Maybe it's just because the numbers are power crept so much to hell right now, but I really could not notice a difference when they started glowing. You just deal cap damage anyway. So they are absolutely not a problem to deal with, in my opinion. Very trivial. The Luffy Ob condition is that you need an attack with at least 4 HP dumps, so as long as you've got that, you should be golden. Originally, I had Alize here in place of Eiko, but I replaced her with Eiko because she is much more helpful on the actual final node. So I brought Eiko. She's got plenty of HP dumps. You know, she's got 4 on her EX, 4 on Double Holy, which is enough. And Locke's got like a lot on his special HP attack and on his LD, if I recall correctly. So yeah, no problems with his team. Kistis was just there just to be there, just for the sake of being there. And delays are a thing too, I guess. Oh man, she used to be like a cheat code, and now she's just kind of like, well, you know, it is what it is. Then on the right hand side, we've got a red crystal node. This is very obviously hinting at using Firion. And something I should just point out, I want to note that I did not notice before, is that the islands actually have coloured crystals in them that match the requirements, which I think is kind of cool. I literally never noticed that before, but whatever. This one pits you up against the Ghost Brothers, which I think was like was this from Sabin's debut? Sabin, I can't remember. But yeah, the orb increase is tied to an effect decrease, so anything like Ace's cards, or Garnet's arc overhead resetting to 1, or Vivi's overhead going down, or obviously what they're pushing you towards is Firion's debuff. Maybe even Emperor would work with the traps. I honestly don't know, I've not tried that, but I don't see why it wouldn't. But one thing about these guys is that they are actually, I believe, the only enemies in the history of the game to have permanently silver locked frames. So you can't delay them, you can't delete them, you can break delay them. I'm not sure why you would want to. I basically just took off-turn damage team to this, and I brought twins along because it's a triple enemy wave, so I brought twins for the aura, and then Firion and Gladio were basically I just let them kill themselves on me, you know, off-turn damage. No problem whatsoever. So, moving on to the final tier, the Reckoning tier. It is against a new type of enemy called the Necromancer, which I don't think we've seen in the game before, which are the lunatic murder weapons, and they're less threatening than their name would suggest, but they are kind of annoying still. The Luffy Orb will tick down twice for every 1 action you take, so please be mindful of that. That's another reason I subbed Alize out. She was just making things way too difficult by stealing all the turns. You increase it when they take a turn, it increases by 2, and it also increases by abilities that restore at least 20% of your max HP, which is +3 per ally. So that basically means that you need constant healing in this fight, and not only for the Lufeni Orb condition, but they also have a HP poison aura, that I would highly recommend you mitigate against. So anyone like Eiko, Locke's skill 2 actually does healing as well. Aerith will work, you know, Paladin Cecil, you probably use them in older tiers, they're like older characters, but like friggin' Lude will work, Porum, you know, anyone like that, anyone that's got a lot of like party heals. Even Garnet probably would work with her EX, maybe not consistently, but I mean that would get you a nice orb reset for everyone. But it needs to be constant healing because of this -2. So Eiko worked for me. The other gimmick they have that this doesn't tell you about is that when their HP drops to 79%, and then periodically onwards, they will go into a yellow aura, which gives them ridiculous, fucking redonkulous, impossible, like, wall of stats level defense. So their defense stat goes through the roof, and if you're not using defense ignoring abilities, you're probably just going to be dropping 1s the whole time. So obviously, this is to push Locke's burst effect, which completely ignores and trivializes enemy defense, which is amazing. And it's the primary reason that I picked him up in the first place. But if you don't want to bring Locke, you can use Beatrix, her follow-ups ignore defense. You can use Vivi, some of his follow-ups ignore defense. Who else? You can use Sabin. Cyan is kind of power crept at this point, but Cyan also ignores defense. Strago skill 1. You know, there's plenty of options out there that ignore defense. And I believe if you hit them with attacks that ignore defense, and then you let them take a turn, or alternatively after a specified number of turns, their aura will go offline, and then you'll be okay until they put it up again. But I just bring Locke because it means I don't have to think, and I can just, like, you know, go shooty boom boom and blow them up, and we're all gonna be fine. So obviously twins are the only green burst I have here. Locke and Eiko have their base Lufenia armors at 0 out of 3. And he has his base BT plus at 0 out of 3. I'm on the fence whether I'm going to spend any ingots. I've brought HP damage increases like Kudasame and Liliset, and Alize is just there for memes to help battery me so that I can do damage to these things when they put the aura up. And I'm in the middle of a burst phase. So without further ado, I'm going to dive into it. I am really wondering what to do about Locke, because he does a lot more damage than I was expecting, and he takes such fast turn rates. He's honestly quite fun to play with. But the big mark against him in my eyes is the fact that he has a dagger. And I'm not crafting a dagger ultimate weapon. I'm not crafting a dagger UT. I want great swords because I'm going all in for Zac. Let me take this opportunity to get up Liliset here. I'm not going to go straight into burst straight away. Actually that's a lie. I am going to go into burst. It's a complete lie. Because these guys will drop below 80% health when I'm in my Locke's burst phase anyway, so I might as well just like go all out from the start, you know what I mean? Get the most out of the twins burst aura while I'm actually in the burst phase. But before Locke does his thing, I am going to sneak slash to let Eiko get her debuffs up, and also reset the orb in the process. So let me get up some Kudasame. Good shit. Now we're playing with fire here. The orb is like about to blow up, but Terra Homing should reset it. I could have brought Odin, and I could have brought Diabolus actually. I think Diabolus would have been a better summon because it would have been triggered straight away by this aura. But we're going to be capping on damage anyway, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I got Miracle Shoes, which I don't want. So let me just like steal item here. Hopefully I get a Genji Glove. You'll love to see it. Okay, let's go. Let's pop on the Alize for the battery, so we continue to deal damage during the burst sequence, and let's go. So when we drop these guys below 80%, they will put up an aura and they become basically pretty much immune to bravery damage, like, or they take much less of it because their defense goes through the roof. So I'm going to start off with this because Alize is amazing. We amazing call ability. I passed on Ketshi, so that's really good for me. And we've got this. Now I am going to LD here. You can see the ones we're doing, but because we've got the battery, it doesn't matter as much. Speaking of ones, my health is also now 1, which is great. I'm just making the most of Alizé here. Okay, now B is dropped as well. You hate to see it. Okay, so let's use a skill 2 and go to speed a bit. And the burst finisher does ignore defense as well, not just the aura. So this should do some pretty decent damage. And he also has an Iroha-like effect, which I think is amazing. I really love this about Locke. Like, just like Jet, he has like a self-Iroha effect where he retains bravery, which is pretty awesome. And so now we've got Locke's burst aura up. Enemy is pretty much just ours, like it's completely at our mercy because it has no defense, literally. And the countdown comes back. So I'm basically just gonna spam LD. I think using LD here when we've got this much bravery is actually the best idea for doing the most damage. It is like 487 in AoE, which is awesome. And another good thing about Locke's burst effect is that he prevents everyone from getting broken. We become immune to breaks, which is pretty nice utility if I'm honest. Maybe not like groundbreaking, but still really, really nice to have. Pretty much here, just gonna put up the aura, because like why wouldn't I? So yeah, the combination of like utility and like sheer silliness between Locke and Garnet and freaking Eiko. Like seriously, I bet you could take those 3 into any quest. Locke, Garnet and Eiko, and I bet you could just auto plus on Lufenia plus and you would just like not lose. I do not see how you could lose with that team. Ever. I'm really curious actually to try it out. Oh, that was a mistake. I should have LD'd. Why did I should have LD'd. I thought I had all the buffs on and I didn't. Thankfully we have some rebirth flames, so we're gonna get like rescued here by Eiko. That was slightly dumb of me. Not to take account of the fact that the additional attacks that these things do will actually strip you of all of your buffs, which is very, very not amazing thing to happen. But we'll absolutely be able to finish this while Locke's effect is still going. In fact, we just have to be careful of our HP levels because we do have a HP requirement here and we don't want to like kill them when we're like under the health requirement. I am really tempted to blue Locke though. Like he's a lot of fun. Like I'll just put it, he's a lot of fun to play with. So A's going to take a turn here, which is completely fine. Of course, like the way that Locke actually works is that he gets a buff called Master Scroll from his EX, and he only gets that from EX or his LD. And then he needs another buff called Genji Glove, which you get a 50% random proc chance from either his skill 1 or from his C65. And then when you have both Genji Glove and Master Scroll active, then your HP attack becomes like the crazy one that does all the HP dumps and hits over 1 million. please bear in mind that you only get this attack if you have equipped his Crystal Strength 85 EX extension. If you don't have the EX extension, you will not get that ability. That threw me off a little bit at first as well, but then I figured it out. Please bear that in mind. It's important. It's important. Don't be out here looking like a fool, okay? So we'll just kick back and enjoy the scenery as Eiko completes the quest for us. Might as well. Yeah, I'm gonna use EX here. Imagine living in a timeline in which Eiko's EX is the best button she has. Imagine, like, that's actually crazy. I love it though. Don't get me wrong. Finally, we can go into summon. Let me just throw Lilith out over here. Of course, our call abilities are going to do a lot more damage now as well, thanks to the defense ignoring. Twins are still just a walking mute button. That's pretty much inarguable, I would have thought. I don't want to EX because that's gonna suck. So let me just do this over here. Excellent. So I can pretty much just delete these guys off the face of the earth with twins now. We are within the HP requirement, and if we don't kill them, then Eiko can just summon Phoenix, and we're pretty much good to go. Excellent. So there we go. Bring it home, guys. There we go. And that is going to be my run through of the Tier 7 Reckoning. So definitely one of the most straightforward Dimensions ends that I've played, but the team comp helps it out massively. You really do need some way of ignoring defense in this fight, and Locke is of course the best, the latest and greatest option in that regard, but there are others that you can do. Just make sure you can like mitigate against it, because dropping ones is not a lot of fun, and don't get yourself killed by the orb or by the HP poison, so you need a lot of healing. But as long as you've got those conditions fulfilled, you can use call abilities, you can use Lena. You know, Lena's actually really good, I just barely use her for some reason. You know, you've got plenty of options. So that's going to be it. That's going to be it from me. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and until the next time, I'll say take care and goodbye.